So when building, you're always going to have constraints. Either time constraints, material constraints, or space constraints. And that's what factors in when you're building. So some of the constraints I have is space. This is about the area that I have to build with. Another constraint is 2x4s. There's a very limited resources on 2x4s. And another constraint is the pieces of sheet wood. I got a bunch of different variations of 4 foot by whatever. So with that being said, I'm gonna make the ramp about 4 feet tall and go from there. Some of the stuff you're gonna wanna be using is a Sawzall, because with these curves of the sheet wood to make the siding of the ramp, it's gonna be really hard to use something like a circular saw to try to make a curved cut. With that being said, you're also gonna need a circular saw and a drill that you can switch out with little Phillips bits to throw some screws into. You're also gonna want some measuring tape and some string to make an arch. Good amount of batteries. Always good to have a Gerber on hand or Leatherman, and a marker to mark out that arch. So one of the first things you're gonna want is a nice piece of scrap wood, and I'll show you what you're gonna do to that to add it on to your sheet wood to get that nice arch for the side of your ramp. So this is my smallest piece of sheet wood. It's 4 feet by 74 inches, a little over 6 feet. So since this is my smaller one, I'm just gonna cut my other sheets to this size. And what I did is I added on a little piece of wood right in the center, and then put my nail right in the center so it's flush with this straight line here. And I got that 5.5 feet from the end, right at 66 inches. So now I'm just gonna use this. Thankfully it's got a little hoop on the end. I'm gonna use my pin and just use this arch to follow that all the way along. Leave a nice little space up here too that I'm gonna add on to eventually. Now I'm just gonna use the Sawzall and cut this line out. So the Sawzall kind of got away from me towards the end in there, but I'm just gonna use this as a template, throw it on the other one, so I ain't gotta make that string and nail everything together, that extra piece of wood and what have you. So I'm just gonna use this as a template, throw it on 2 other pieces, mark it out, and cut it out again. So I got the 3 side framing pieces cut out. Next is getting the 2x4s to connect them together, and then getting the sheet wood to go on top to curve to this curvature. So I've tried a couple techniques with trying to get that thing to bow by wedging it, but I didn't get no results from that. I also tried getting some 2 sawhorses here and putting some weight on it to try to get that thing to bow, but I didn't have no luck with that. So what I ended up doing is the sheet of wood that I cut those side pieces out of is the perfect curvature that I was able to make a mold out of, and then getting some 2x4s to connect them together, and then getting some ratchet straps to try to bend it, add some water to it so it don't try to crack. So these ratchet straps are causing so much stress, it's fucking bowing. Ended up ripping out some of the smaller screws, so I added some larger screws into that thing. Next time I'm gonna add a second layer onto here. But for right now, just to get this last little bit down, I'm using some C-clamps. Try to squish it that little bit more to add tension onto here and also there. So I got the C-clamps back off of it. I got a handful of screws holding it down here, trying to clamp it down, but as you can see, starting to lose the battle of tension, because that is supposed to be all the way down here, and this is supposed to be flush with this. Well, there we go. No more ratchet straps. Dump it up here. Adding one in here to try to bring this back down. And I got some of the long screws going through into this, trying to hold it down. So what I'm gonna do, let's get the ratchet strap, tuck it in here, tuck it in there, tuck it in there. Do the same thing that was over here, up here. And then that's what I'm gonna start anchoring down, trying to get the other side to flex up. So I got it anchored down here. 1, 2, 3. Left, right, and middle. Through the straps over. Now I'm just gonna bring this down, flip her down, and then start working on the other side. Just give you a little peek of what we got going on so far. So whatever this overhangs, I'm just gonna chop that off. Just a little update. This knot right here on the side really screwed me. On the inside, you can feel it. So I'm gonna have this side, the outside. This side's nice and good. Right along here, you can feel it come down, and then straight across here, starting to split. Well, just gave out on us. Ripped all the screws out. So, we're back at square one.